The Z28 badge on a Camaro is one of the most iconic nameplates in the American car world. That badge has adorned various body styles over the years, but not all shared the same performance pedigree. The second-generation Camaro Z28s, produced from 1970 to 1981, are among the most popular. However, the Z28 Camaro underwent a significant transformation by 1981 compared to its 1970 counterpart. In 1970, the Z28 boasted a respectable 360 horsepower and 380 foot-pounds of torque from its 350 cubic-inch small-block V8. But by 1981, power from the same size 350 small block had dwindled to just 175 horsepower, with quarter-mile times now in the 16-second range. It appeared that the days of high-performance American V8s were gone, thanks to increased regulations and intermittent fuel shortages. Yet, there was a faint glimmer of hope on the horizon for American performance, thanks to a series of very special dealer-built turbocharged Z28 Camaros. The dealer responsible for building these remarkable Camaros was none other than the famous Yenko Chevrolet. This is the story of the 1981 Yenko Camaro Turbo Z. Welcome back to another episode of Rare Cars Revival. This is the channel where we dive into the past and explore some of the rarest and most iconic vehicles of all time. If you want to see more short-form documentaries on unique cars like the Yenko Turbo Z or even the Yenko Stinger Corvair, make sure you are subscribed to the Rare Cars Revival YouTube channel. Right now, only about 1% of our viewers are actually subscribed, and every subscriber helps build our community. But now, let's get into the history of the turbocharged Yenko Camaro, a car you may have never even heard about. Don Yenko and his Pennsylvania dealership were no strangers to building some of the baddest GM cars around. Yenko Corvairs, Novas, Camaros, and Vegas have become the stuff of legends in the automotive community. In 1981, Yenko and his team knew that even though the automakers had choked all the fun out of their cars, that didn't mean buyers weren't still looking for something fast. However, this time around, there were no high-performance big block or special order options available. The hottest motor they could put in the Z28 was the 175 horsepower 350. So they had to get creative. That need for creativity led them down the rabbit hole of turbocharging, an increasingly popular phenomenon. GM had experimented with turbocharging their Corvairs back in the 60s, and in the early 80s, they had introduced turbocharged engines in various models, such as the Buick V6 and the Pontiac V8 in the Turbo Trans Am. Turbochargers were here to stay, and Yenko was determined to use them to boost the power of these anemic Z28s. Yenko worked on a deal with the turbo manufacturer Turbo International to utilize their turbochargers on his new Turbo Z28S. This installation was done by using what is called a blow-through setup, which means that the turbocharger forced air directly into the carburetor. While primitive compared to modern fuel injection systems, it got the job done. The Yenko Turbo Zs would run 7 pounds of boost through their turbocharger and would not use a wastegate. The Z28's factory low compression ratio of just 8.2 to 1 actually made it a decent candidate for turbocharging. Estimates place the total horsepower of these Yenko Turbo Zs somewhere between 250 and 300 horsepower. Comparatively, the closest reference point to the Yenko Turbo Z would be the comparable 301 Pontiac Turbo Trans Am, which made 210 horsepower from its turbocharged V8. These Trans Ams clocked the quarter-mile in the high 16 to low 17-second range. When compared to the Yenko Turbo Z's 14.5-second quarter-mile time, it's clear that the Yenko car had to have made way more power than the Trans Am. All Z28 Camaros equipped with the 350 cubic-inch motor were paired with a 3-speed TH350 automatic transmission. The Yenko Turbo Zs also packed a 10-bolt rear end with a long set of 3.08 gears, enhancing performance further. There were actually two stages of Yenko Turbo Z cars offered to customers, a Stage 1 and a Stage 2 car. The Stage 1 car was the generic Turbo Z, featuring upgraded engine performance along with interior and exterior modifications. On the other hand, the Stage 2 cars were built more as sports cars, focusing on improved handling rather than straight-line speed. All Stage 2 Turbo Zs received Cody Springs' new wider wheels and tires for enhanced lateral grip, along with additional chassis stiffening modifications to increase rigidity. Externally, a Yenko Turbo Z could be distinguished by its revised and lengthened front fascia, giving it an unmistakably 80s turbocharged appearance. The interiors of Stage 1 cars featured minor modifications, mainly to the instrument cluster and dashboard to accommodate new gauges and other additions. Stage 2 cars, however, received all the Stage 1 interior options plus upgraded leather and a sportier steering wheel. These Yenko Turbo Zs were not only among the coolest but also the fastest cars you could buy new in the early 80s. However, despite their appeal, sightings of these rare beasts in the wild are incredibly scarce. Why? Because only 19 of them were ever made, 16 Stage 1 Turbo Zs and just 3 Stage 2 Turbo Zs. Yenko initially aimed to produce more, but the main obstacle to sales turned out to be the price. A Stage 1 Turbo Z would set buyers back a hefty $11,000, while the Stage 2 cars commanded an eye-watering $17,500, a considerable sum in 1981. To put it into perspective, a base model Z28 cost only $8,000. At the Stage 2 level, buyers were essentially paying more for modifications than for the underlying car itself. Additionally, these Yenko Turbo Zs marked the final Camaros ever built by Yenko Chevrolet, as the dealership closed its doors just a year later in 1982. Today, these Turbo Zs are some of the rarest Yenko-built Camaros. In fact, the whereabouts of some remain unknown. Despite extensive research, only a handful of recent pictures of these cars have surfaced. One even appeared for sale randomly in New Jersey a couple of years ago, but its fate remains a mystery. It's entirely possible that there are still a few of these incredibly rare Yenko Turbo Z Camaros out there, waiting to be discovered. And that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes the short history of the incredibly rare and innovative 1981 Yenko Turbo Z Camaro. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, we would greatly appreciate it if you could drop a like and share this video with other enthusiasts. Also, please make sure you are subscribed to the Rare Cars Revival YouTube channel and smash the notification bell for more documentary-style videos just like this on the world's most interesting cars. Until next time, enthusiasts.